Good 5M Monday morning, everybody. This is a really special Monday because it's Labor Day, and I hope all of you are enjoying this wonderful holiday that we're having here in Canada. And I am really excited today to be starting our second M, which is meaning. And this one's really one of my favorites. This really does set the foundation for your investing. And so today we're going to be talking about that. Let me just go into here. So the concept of meaning is really, what does that mean? It means love what you own and also understand what you own. So the concept of meaning really means that you buy companies that you love and understand, and we'll go on into this concept a little more deeply as the weeks go on. So just as a summary, I'm just going to go over what we went over in our first M. So our first M was mindset, of course, and mindset is huge because that is what really helps us to make rational decisions. So the things that we did when we were developing our investing mindset is that we looked at our future goals, where we want to be, what is our future Freedom Day look like. We also went back into our past and had a look at what bad habits we might have developed, what our limiting beliefs were, and we tried to reprogram our mind. That's something that really needs to be done on a daily basis. And then we had a look at where we are right now. We sat down and looked at our finances and needed to clean some of those up perhaps, and then we also determined what our gap was between where we are now and where we'd like to go. Then we started to talk about investing mindset. Now there's two different investing mindsets. I call them conventional and non-conventional investing mindsets, and that's basically the polar opposite. Conventional investors, they look more short-term with regards to their results, and non-conventional investors look more long-term. Short-term investors tend to be more reliant on money managers to manage their money, and long-term investors are more independent. They make their own decisions and invest their own money in their own way. And there is a really big difference between that. If you're looking at short-term investing strategies, you're probably going to be making a lot of emotional decisions, and you're going to be having more ups and downs with regards to whether your investments are doing well. Non-conventional investors that look long-term are less impacted emotionally with regards to investing because they're looking long-term. They're more rational in their decisions, and so the emotional roller coaster isn't nearly as great with a non-conventional investor. So we, as a 5M value investors, of course, we're going to be looking long-term. We're rational, independent thinkers. We don't let other people tell us what to do with our money. We decide that for ourselves. So looking closer at the concept of meaning, so Warren Buffett discusses this quite a bit anytime you see talks about him. So recently at his Berkshire Hathaway meeting, he did indicate that he thinks it's foolish to think that because stocks are liquid, that you can develop an opinion on them minute by minute. So this is a reference to that short-term emotional thinking. So he thinks that's a rather foolish way to invest. It's more along the lines of gambling rather than investing. So the way we want to think of buying a stock, even one stock, is we need to be thinking of approaching that purchase as if we're buying the entire business. So what you want to be looking at is not just buying a stock that you can, buy and sell very quickly, and you're looking at prices. This is not what we're looking at as non-conventional investors. We're looking at buying shares as if we're buying the entire business. So think about what things you would like to see if you were out there buying a business. the entire thing. So some of the things we'd be looking at is, well, you know, do these businesses align with our values? Do we understand them? Do we like them? Because we're looking at holding these businesses for a long time. And if they don't match these things, it's going to be really tough to keep up with those things. And we also want to be proud of owning these businesses. So we want to make it personal. It actually makes it a lot more fun to keep up with a business if it's something you really love and understand. So there's also this idea of circle of competence that Warren Buffett references many times. So he says that everybody has a different circle of competence. And the important thing is to know how big that circle is and staying within that circle. So what does circle of competence means? It really means that you really need to understand what you yourself understand. So you need to define the boundaries of the things that you know and understand and stay within that circle. So conceptually, this is what that looks like. So circle of competence is this little circle over here, and those are the things we know really well. And then outside of our circle of competence, maybe things that we think we know a lot about, but perhaps we don't know all that we should. So maybe we want to go outside the circle of competence sometimes. But if you really want to be looking at businesses that will make you money, you're going to want to stay within that circle of competence of the businesses you understand. So Warren Buffett says that what an investor needs is the ability to correctly evaluate these selected businesses. Okay, so selected businesses, that means we don't throw money at everything. We actually decide which businesses we want to put our money in. And the word selected means that we don't have to be an expert on every company or even a lot of companies. We just need to be an expert on a few. So you need to have the ability to evaluate the companies within your circle of competence. And the size of that circle is not important at all, but it is important to know what those boundaries are. So the circle of competence is important because that is what determines your risk. So if you're investing in something that you don't understand, then your risk will automatically go up because you won't know what moves to make with regards to that investment. And so risk comes from knowing what you are doing and what you understand. And that's why the circle of competence is so important. So how do we find the circle of competence? Well, the circle of competence is a really interesting one. It's actually very connected to a Japanese term called ikigai. And that is basically the concept of finding out what your purpose or mission in life is. And this is very useful in helping us to narrow down what our circle of competence is. So we need to start looking at all the things in the circles here. And so we need to look at what we love, what we're passionate about, what we do professionally, where do we spend our money, where do we get money from, what we feel is our mission, and we need to look at things we're good at as well. So we're going to be doing an exercise here to find out what our circle of competence is. So I want you to take out a piece of paper, and maybe 3 pieces of paper because the list may be long. We're going to be making 3 lists. So the first list is going to be writing down the things that you love. Okay, so sit down and make a list of things you love. Do not share this list with anyone else until you're done the exercise, because it's really important to not be influenced by other people's concepts of what you love. Okay, this is very personal to you. So when you're writing this list, start thinking of the things that you're passionate about, things that you love to do recreationally. Maybe you've got a really great hobby that you love. Start to think of things you like to do professionally as well. And what do you like to buy or do regularly that you enjoy? Perhaps you like to go out to dinner or a movie. There's got to be something that you really enjoy doing regularly as well. And also think of things that maybe you've liked for a really long time that you've never gotten bored of. So maybe you've really loved dogs all your life, and that's something you're never going to get bored of. So maybe that'll be on your list. And what did you love as a child also that you wish you can get back to? So, for example, myself, I really enjoyed art and painting when I was a child. But since I've left school, I haven't done any of that. And, it's something that I really wish I could get back to. So what do you love to do if you had money? So if somebody said, okay, here's all the time and money you want, what would you love to do with that time and money? Write those things on the list. And you've already done your Freedom Days, so there's probably a whole bunch of things on that list that you would love to buy. So if somebody gave you time and money, what are those things on that list? You can go reference that one as well. So now we're going to look at our second list. So the second list is, what are you good at? So that's another, you're going to sit down and write down all the things you're good at. So when you're writing down that list, start thinking about the skills you have, perhaps at work or at home, what knowledge and education you have, what do people come to you for help with? That would be a really good clue as to what you're good at. And how do you earn a living? So where does your paycheck come from? And also, where did you earn a living in the past? What previous jobs did you hold that you were good at or enjoyed? And what do you also wish you would like to be paid for? So maybe there's a profession that you wished that you could have went into, but due to circumstances you weren't able to. So maybe put that down as well as something that you could potentially be good at. And so you'll have your second list completed there. And then you're going to go on to the third list. And this list is going to be focused on what you think the world needs. So when you're looking at this list, you're going to go through and start thinking of your values and things that you think the world needs more of. So, so for me, I think, organic food is a great one to put on the list. I think the world needs more organic, clean food as opposed to, chemical-based pesticide GMO products. So that's just an example for myself. I'm sure you could come up with plenty of other things for yourself as well. And then you can start thinking of, what the world needs less of. Okay, so you're always thinking of, what will make the world a better place? What do you think should do? Now, we all have opinions these days. I mean, social media has blown that all up out of the water. So maybe you've been making a lot of comments on certain things because you think that there's certain things that should be happening in this world, and so you've got a really strong opinion about something. So that's something that you would definitely write down on this list. And you're going to think of all the things that you hold most dear. So maybe you've got family, or you really patriotic to your country, or there's got to be something that is really, really important to you that you would just would be really lost without. So you'd want to put that in. And also, how do you want to contribute to making the world a better place? So maybe you're already doing that, which is wonderful. Or maybe you wish you could be doing more when it comes to charities, or maybe helping your neighbors or your family. What things would you like to do to contribute to be a better place? And then what do you also wish other people were doing? So again, we're going back to our opinions. And when you state an opinion, you're usually, making a statement of what you think the world should look like, and what you think other people should and should not be doing. Now you're going to have 3 lists that are completed, and what you're going to do now is take those lists and have a look at if there's anything in common on all 3 lists, and you're going to circle them, and so that'll be a new list that you're going to put on as your focus. Okay, so these are the things that you really want to be focused on. Those are the things that you're probably more competent on. Those are the things that are inside your circle of competence. And so those are the things that you're going to be looking for when you're looking for companies to invest in. You're going to be looking at companies that also align with all 3 of those lists inside your circle of competence. And then you're going to go out and find companies, make a list of companies that do align with those. So as Warren Buffett says, if you're not willing to own a stock for 10 years, you don't even think about owning it for 10 minutes. So when you're making a list of companies, really do think that. Think of whether you like that company, whether you think they're doing a really good job of improving the world. Do you understand them based on your skills and understanding and education? So start making a list of companies that align with that. And if you really like this video, please subscribe, share, like this video, and turn your notifications on so that every Monday you can get notified for the next 5M Monday video. I'm also going to be starting a new series soon called Investment Knowledge Check. So this one's going to be talking about just general things in investing that I think everyone should know and that perhaps isn't taught in schools. Or I see a lot of investors maybe getting it confused. So I'm just going to be talking about these topics once a month, and hopefully you enjoy that series as well. So I hope you have a really good Labor Day, and we will see you next Monday.